Hello everyone, SilverContrail here, and today we're going to play SolitaryCraft. This is episode 3, I believe, so getting some progress on the series already. I'm in the Flatland in creative mode because I wanted to show something off, but before we get to that, I want to point out that I get a comment on my first video of this series, my SolitaryCraft episode 1, by actually the creator of the SolitaryCraft pack. His YouTube name is, I really don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Yorkie, I think. He calls himself the Toffman, because it's a lot easier to pronounce, I imagine. I actually did not know that he had created SolitaryCraft. And get out of here, slime. I was really surprised when he left a comment and he said, "Thanks for playing my pack." And I was like, "Who the heck are you?" Like, it's not your pack. And then I looked him up, and turns out it is. And I actually had remembered him because I had watched many of his videos in the past. He has an excellent series on Thaumcraft 4. If you have any questions about Thaumcraft 4, go ahead and check out his channel. He's got a complete guide to it, and it's amazing. It's how I learned to play Thaumcraft. But anyways, yeah, I mean, that's cool, you know, getting comments from people who make the stuff that I'm playing. Today we're going to plant the sacred rubber sapling. This is from MineFactory Reloaded. It's a reference to the sacred oak sapling from Biomes of Plenty, which grows into a really big oak tree. The sacred rubber sapling is something else entirely. It is on an entirely different level, and I'm not sure if I need to do this or not. We'll see what happens. Oh, yep. Okay, I can see. I've got a console. If you run the ATLauncher, there's a little console, and you can see it, pop up with different information. And I can see that it's beginning to output a lot of text right now. So it must have run. This takes a little bit to actually load up, but when it does, it is crazy. I loaded it up. Yesterday, last night actually, because my brother had suggested it, and he was like, "Hey, plant this sapling because it's gigantic." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, it'll probably be the same size as the regular sapling." So I thought, well, what harm is that? I'll just plant it, and we'll see how tall it gets and stuff. I was completely unprepared for the size of this thing. This is ridiculous. And it took like 30 seconds last time to actually load up, and when it did, it was really crazy. So kind of just waiting. Oh, there it goes. Okay, my game's gonna slow down a lot. So this is the base. That's about all we can see of it right now. I'm gonna play on fast graphics because on fancy the leaves will lag me too much. So it's really wide base. This is all rubber tree from MFR. So if you break it, you get rubber from it and stuff. And so it goes up. Okay, so it doesn't go up to the height limit. I was curious last time because I didn't put it. I put it way higher above the bedrock level last time. So this is just the center of the tree, and if you look at my map, if I zoom out all the way, this is the maximum zoom I can have on my mini map. I'm like a speck on this map, and you can see it takes up the entirety of the map. The canopy for this tree is so large that you can't render it all with far render. You can't do it. It's too much. I don't know if you can render it with extreme distance like you get on Optifine. It is just absolutely insane. So we'll go up here. You can see the rest of it will load in. And punch our way through all the wood. It takes a little while. See my mini-map changing. Oh, it takes a while. I believe it goes all the way up to the height. Well, maybe it does. Okay, no, it doesn't. Alright, here we are. We're on top. Woo! If we follow this tree out, yeah, it goes out quite a ways. You can see this is all, it's still unrendered just because the game's being really slow about rendering it. If you try to do this on a weaker computer, you're going to have a bad time, so I would not suggest planning this on a server either, because your server owners will not be a fan. So it comes all the way out to about here. This is one tree. it goes, yeah, it's so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's get towards the center. And this thing is just gigantic. So at the very center is the one tree. The one tree that you grow. It goes all the way down into this like hollow area here. Oh my. It's just so over the top. I love it. I mean, this is... If you've ever heard of Vex or ever played Vex Canopy Carnage, Complete the Monument map, from the Super Hostile series, this one sapling basically grows his entire map. This sapling, this tree, honestly, is probably roughly the same size as that map for the entire distance that it goes out. It's just, it's so, there's so much. Oh my. Just imagine all of this wood, like, if you had to chop all this down. It's like people complain about those like big oak trees that grow that have like all the branches and stuff because they're hard to chop down. Like imagine trying to chop down this. I don't think this burns really good, so I don't think, unless you put on hard mode, if that's still enabled. This is of course above the cloud limit, so if you just drop down again, it's like boop. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm surprised it isn't dark down here, though. Huh. Yeah, pretty crazy. I think there's some lighting glitches going on or something. I bet, you know what? I bet if I turn it to time set night, and then time set day, I wonder if that would update the lighting. Not by much. Okay. I was curious to see if it would update the lighting. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. So that's all I wanted to show you guys for this. We'll go ahead and do some stuff. There's some things we need to do around the base. And yeah, we got some stuff coming up. So let me switch over and I'll be right back. Alright guys, welcome back to my SolitaryCraft world. Back in single player. Back in the world where we're doing things and stuff, and I went ahead and built a base. Between the last episode and this one, I have done quite a bit, just some stuff, to figure out what I've been doing, mostly just building a base. It's not complete, and there's a lot to do. It's got 3 floors right now. It's got, of course, the roof, which has nothing on it. This floor, which has got my enchanting table, my bed, and some MineChem. Some stuff. We'll talk about this. This is pretty basic stuff, really. Pretty basic. And then we come down here to the basement. It's got a nether portal and some RotaryCraft stuff, which I finally figured out some stuff about RotaryCraft, so I can explain that as well. So lots of cool things. I think there's nothing else down here. It's pretty lame. I have some glass, or I was cooking glass in there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've done. I built this, I did some stuff with MineChem, I did some stuff with RotaryCraft. I did a lot of mining. I was trying to get diamonds. I know where some diamonds are. I want to go get them. And I just made a diamond pick, and this is where I stopped playing last night because I wanted to start recording now, and I'm going to go ahead and disable my mini-map, I think. Hide coordinates. Oh, okay. So, I want to do an enchantment, level 30. On this pick, and of course I got the books. There's that stronghold down beneath me, has a library in it, so I got lots and lots of books. Didn't have to farm a bunch of cows for that. That was really convenient. So we'll do a level 30 enchant. I'm really hoping for Fortune or Silk Touch. It's kind of a bad level to do an enchantment if you're trying to get Silk Touch. Like doing level 15 to 20 on Iron Picks, I think it's a good level for Silk Touch, but we'll try to get A diamond pick with something good. Something just to mine around with would be nice. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks, but I can use it. Oh well. So let me bring you through my thought process for the future. Basically, with the mods that I have enabled, the way I've been thinking about doing things is using the RotaryCraft extractor, which turns ores. It has a very high efficiency with ores. It gets a lot out of a single ore. Using that to process my ores, and pretty much I just need to power that. As long as I can power that, I'm going to be happy. So let me go down and look at this guy. With RotaryCraft, there's a lot to this mod, and that's why they give you the Rotary Handbook to talk about things. We talked about this last time, the blast furnace, which if you load it up with iron, you put coal on the top slot and then gunpowder on the bottom slot. It turns that iron into HSLA steel ingots. This is very similar to the process by which you would make refined iron in the past for IndustrialCraft and GregTech, which is no longer the case. And this is used to make a bunch of different things, like usually the work table, I believe. Yeah, you have to use it to make the work table. And then you need to use the work table to make pretty much everything else in the mod. And that includes this guy, which is the extractor. So the extractor, what it basically does is it takes an ore and then it runs it through a bunch of processes, and I'm going to put that in quotes. It runs it through 4 different processes, and then it turns that into, I think it's like flakes or something. Whatever it is, it turns one ore into some number of items, which you can then smelt directly into ingots. Now, every time it goes through one of these, it's got a 50% chance of doubling in quantity, which means that by the time you get it out of here, you can have quite a few of these ores. And I guess we can go ahead and run it. I don't see a reason why not. Not like I don't have the coal. It's kind of a pain to run because it has different requirements, and I have to keep modulating this magnostatic engine. This is what's really powering the whole thing. I've got this bevel gears here. This is just to turn this axis, turns this gear, which turns this gear, which turns this guy, because he's got to be powered from below. I can't point this upwards, so I've got to make it go 90 degrees. If it looks like it's off there, that's because the model isn't correct. But I've made this sort of a structure, in fact this entire structure here, out of Lego before. Like there are literally Lego bevel gears, if you're unfamiliar, and then you just have like an axis poking through them. And there's actually a block that's very similar to this whole outer frame for this bevel gear structure. Or piece, I should say, not block. But basically the magnostatic engine, you fill it with redstone flux, which I get from a dynamo of some sort, from thermal expansion. And then I go ahead and just turn this thing on. It turns it into rotational power. That rotational power powers the extractor. So we can go ahead and test this if we want. We will put in some, let's see, some gold, I guess. We can put gold in, I guess. Wouldn't be a big deal. The steam dynamo requires some coal and some water. I'm sure it does have water. This guy also requires water, and I just have it next to my aqueous accumulator. So the aqueous accumulator takes in the water and just pours it right into the extractor. And this guy isn't on, right? Does he need to be on? I don't think he needs to be on. Okay, so if we give this guy a little bump, we can see that it's starting to work. And let me just check my sound. And it's going to have all these different bars here. And these bars tell me what I need to do. There's 4 stages, and each column is one of the stages. For that column, I need to meet certain power requirements, certain speed requirements, and certain torque requirements. What you need to remember here is that while I can directly set speed and torque, power is speed times torque. So I have all the speed that I need. I don't need any speed because it's maxed out. But I do need torque and I do need power. So I'm going to go ahead and bump the torque and I still need to keep bumping the torque, and it's going to double every time. If I remember correctly, it needs like a lot of torque, so I'll just bump it to 512. And you can see that it immediately gets enough torque, but it does need a little bit more speed to get the power up, and so it'll start processing it. Now the more that I'm using, the faster it's going to go through that redstone flux. So I got to be careful with that. Otherwise I'll burn through all my coal really quickly. So it'll go ahead and process the first stage. No, it's going to go to the second stage, and for the second stage I don't have enough speed, but I don't need as much torque for the second stage. So I can down my torque and I can up my speed. I still need more. And yeah, I'm good. In fact, I probably don't even need that much torque that I have on it. Make sure I don't run out. For the third stage, I need more speed, so I can down the torque probably a little bit more, up the speed again, and it's running. You can see this column is full green. And I've turned this gold ore, it's turned into 2 so far, and now that 1 has turned into 2, so I've got an extra gold ore solution. And then this is going to keep processing, and that gives me 3 total, and now I need a little bit more torque. I don't need as much speed. I need to keep bumping up my torque. There we go. And this is the last stage of the process. I don't know the exact numbers for what it needs at each stage, but I do know that there is an overall point that you could put this on, and as long as you have enough power to feed it, it'll run all the processes together. But it's a matter of having those processes together. So ending up with gold ore flakes. So this, if I smelt this in a furnace, I'm going to get 1 gold ingot out of it. So I've turned 1 gold ore into, for now, it looks like 3 flakes. And it does look like I'm going to get 3 flakes out of this. Kind of an interesting looking contraption here. I'm not really sure what's going on with this thing. The crafting recipe for it's really odd. So here we go for the last one, and as soon as this is done I can turn off my engine. Oh, and this one gave me 2, so I ended up straight up quadrupling my output here. So I put in 1 gold ore and I got out 4 gold flakes, and if I stick these guys in here, it'll turn each of these gold flakes into an ingot. So really efficient. The extractor is definitely something that I want to be using in the future to process all of my ores because it's so efficient. The only downside is it's slow, but you can make more. So I guess it's not that big of a problem. But I probably will want to automate it somehow. Not sure how I want to do that quite yet. But yeah, I mean, this is great. Like, you know, get one ore and turn it into 4 ingots. And earlier I turned 1 iron ore into 9 ingots, and I was really happy with that. Boop, put that in there. Put these guys in there. The screwdriver is used for manipulating these guys if you want. Like, it'll tell you a little bit of information about it. Don't really need it right now. Don't need you right now. I'll put a stack in here. Is it night? It's probably night, isn't it? Yep. I've been fighting off a lot of mobs in here lately. I just put the glass in. I didn't have it in earlier, and I would come up here and it'd be night. There'd just be mobs all over the place. Really a pain. Sun is coming up. But yeah, that's basically as far as I've gotten in RotaryCraft. You know, if you have any questions about it, it's usually pretty easy to just find stuff in the Rotary handbook, which you get when you spawn in, and I think you can make it, because I think I made mine. Yeah, you just use paper, iron, redstone, so not too hard to make. So let's talk about MineChem next. So this is the other mod. I think this is the last mod. No, because I haven't talked about Applied Energistics yet. Second to last mod I think that I haven't used yet. No, I haven't used MineFactory Reloaded. Yeah, so MFR, let's see, MFR and Applied Energistics I haven't used something out of those mods yet. Have I used something out of extra utilities? I think yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have the watering can. Okay, so MineChem. MineChem plays. I think I equated it to equivalent exchange earlier. MineChem is based around really the 3 steps of alchemy: understanding the composition of matter within a microscope, breaking it down in a decomposer, and reconstructing it into something new in a chemical synthesis machine. So it really is the process of alchemy disguised as science. Or maybe it's the other way around, who knows? The base item you need is the microscope, and this is made with like glass and iron and redstone, those sorts of things. What you do with it is you'll need a chemist journal as well, and this is just, I think, a book with something in it. And you put this guy in here. If you put some material, you can see what it is made out of. So I believe this is for synthesis. Okay, so if I put this guy in the decomposer, it's telling me that I'll get out iron oxide, iron 3 oxide, and copper at a 42% chance. The other 68% or 58%, presumably it will be destroyed and I will get nothing from it. And then the other recipe here is for the chemical synthesis machine. So it's telling me that if I give this chemical synthesis machine iron 3 oxide and copper and 1000 MJs of power, it will create redstone for me. So I can make things and I can decompose things. And clearly, since they're made of the same thing, if I wanted to, I could decompose it and then immediately recompose it, or immediately synthesize it again if I wanted to, but I probably don't. Once you have looked at something while you have the chemist journal in here, it gets saved into the chemist journal. You can see all the things that I've researched so far, all these different sort of things in here. The main one that I've been trying to get is an ender pearl, because ender pearls are kind of tricky to get, and I don't know why this is really sensitive. But yeah, you can see all the different recipes of the decomposing and all the synthesis recipes. Lots of stuff in here. You can make diamonds, but it requires a lot of energy to do and a lot of different materials. So don't really want to do that. Is that an Enderman? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just hearing things. So each of these 2 machines right here, the decomposer and the chemical synthesis machine, these guys do take energy. They take a certain amount of energy to run a process. You can see that they have a certain amount of storage as well, and they'll just keep being animated as long as they have power in them. They have some amount of storage in here. Like I've got a bunch of different chemicals: silicon, phosphorus, lead, beryllium, iron, hydrogen. MineChem had a recent update where they took out like test tubes, I think. These guys, you don't need anything to make them. Like if you just put something in here, you'll be good to go. Like if I put some cobblestone in here, and again there's that % chance, so a lot of this is getting destroyed. And there I got some oxygen, but a lot of this is getting destroyed when I'm running through the process, because it's % chance. But you don't need any tubes. It'll just create the iron, create the element, and then that's what you get out of it. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I've got silicon, phosphorus, lead, beryllium, iron, lots of different things. And then the chemical synthesis machine has another little inventory storage down here. And what you do is, if you have a recipe you want to make, so if I want to make calcium carbonate, I'm going to go ahead and put the calcium carbonate in here, and it's going to give me that recipe. If I put calcium and carbonate down in here, which I actually do have calcium and carbonate, what do you know? And then I click this, it will create that calcium carbonate. It'll also use a certain amount of energy when I do that process. So I have 17 carbonate and 1 calcium, so I could do this process once. So I'll pull this out. You can see it takes up a little bit of energy, and then I can put it down here. Usually for making stuff like this, it doesn't really take that much energy. But if you're making a material like, say, an ender pearl or a diamond especially, it's going to take a lot more energy. But yeah, that's pretty much I mean, that's pretty much the process. You can combine all sorts of different elements here. I don't know if you can, like, if you do this, yeah. Oh, there it goes. It detects that that recipe is equivalent to a carbonate, which I do need to combine with the calcium. Just not at the moment, actually. I need calcium by itself, which, because that's the recipe, or yeah, because I have carbonate, and then I need calcium, and if I hit R, oh, it's not gonna show me, is it? Nope. If I want to get calcium, you know, you might expect that I would get it from a bone, and you would probably be correct if you said that. You know, unsurprisingly, bones do possess hydrofoxylipate, I don't even know, which contains calcium, phosphorus, and oxygen, hydrogen, and there's a pigment down below me. If I just put this back in the chemical synthesis machine, oh, it's jammed. Doesn't have any space to put items anymore. Oh, that's cool. Tells you that. I didn't know it told you that, actually. And this actually produces a fair bit of calcium. So I can dump this back in here, and now that I've got my calcium again, and I've got my carbonate, I can pull out a bunch more of the... But, gimme. Now what you gimme? Carbonate. And calcium. Energy per item is 500. Oh, there it goes. Weird. Little glitch. Yeah, this is taking like 500 redstone flux just to run the reaction. Being a little buggy today. Oh. Doesn't help that I keep missing the click. And I made 20 of these. The reason I'm getting these is to make ender pearls. You need einsteinium surrounded by calcium carbonate. So for each ender pearl, you're going to want 8 calcium carbonate. And I have 2 right now. So I've, 16 would be 2. So I need to get to 24 so I can make 3. And then I need the einsteinium as well, which you can get from decomposing soul sand. So it's a really easy way to get, I guess not necessarily an easy way, but it is a way to get ender pearls without farming endermen, which is kind of a pain. But anyways, yeah, that's basically what I'm doing with MineChem. You can use this to create a lot of different things, like glowstone, for example, things that are kind of a pain to harvest if you want to just create them that way. I think the newest version of MineChem has turtles, I don't remember. But yeah, I'll be doing more stuff with that later on. And otherwise, I'm kind of getting towards the wrapping up point here, so I want to just go over one last thing. I think my goal for powering this is going to be to do lava power, which I haven't done in a long time, actually. It used to be my favorite form of power. And that's going to take magmatic dynamos from thermal expansion. These guys are made with Invar. They're not too expensive, presumably, if you can make the Invar, which takes iron and ferrous metal, which is not too difficult to make. And then I'm going to also need an endothermic pump. Endothermic pump from Extra Utilities to pump the lava, which is going to take more stuff. This takes some ender pearls, which thankfully I do have a way to produce them. And I have ender, so I'll have to go get some blaze rods, but you might even be able to produce these in MineChem. But I probably have to look at it in a microscope first. And then lastly, in order to transfer, unfortunately, to transfer over the lava from the nether back to my world, I'm going to need a tesseract, 2 of them, which are going to require a tesseract frame, which means I'm going to need hardened glass, which means I'm going to need an induction smelter, which means I'm going to need to make enderium ingots, which take pyrotheum dust, which is a combination of a bunch of easy things to make, but also going to take enderium blend, which is going to take pulverized shiny metal, of which I have none, and lots and lots and lots of ender pearls. Plus, to make resin ender, you're going to need a magma crucible and a liquid transposer. So, a lot of infrastructure to make for thermal expansion before I can get to the stuff that I really want to use next. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna take a lot of work. So by the next episode, hopefully I'll have some things worth showing off for that, and yeah, it should be fun. We'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching, and until next time then.